Hello everyone, welcome to What If Deku Was Depressed and Got the Power of Creation and Destruction movie. Before we start, please go support Au.ancalagonintheblack for writing that awesome fanfic. Now let's begin. This is the translated version I made. There will be some wrong he or she calling here because it's translated, so let me clear this. Deku is a male in this story. The onset of pain. Izuku Midoriya, a boy who dreamed of being a great hero like his sister who wanted the same, and when the day came to see what power they had, the two went to the hospital to find out. Izuku was the most excited, thinking that it would finally be like his hero All Might, but all that was interrupted by the doctor. Doctor? Mrs. Inko, her son Izuku does not have any powers, while her daughter Izumi has two powers, which are telekinesis and breathing fire. At this, Izuku lowered his head. After that, when they arrived at his house, Izuku was about to say something, but was hit by his mother. Inko. Damn quirks. Izuku. In. He couldn't finish speaking as Inko gave him another hit. Izumi. You're no longer my brother. They beat up poor Izuku without caring. After that day, Izuku was going to school meeting his best friend Bakugo and his girlfriend Uraraka. When he was about to say something, Izumi interrupted him. Izumi. Bakugo, Uraraka, know that my brother doesn't have a quirk. At this, they were surprised. Uraraka. I don't want to be your girlfriend anymore. I prefer Bakugo because he has a quirk. Bakugo. You're bucking Deku. At this, Naruto lowered his head, so he left. During his way, he met All Might. At this, Izuku got excited and approached him. Izuku. It's All Might who can give me an autograph. All Might. How not to? Izuku. Mr. All Might, can someone be a hero like you without power? All Might. That's impossible, boy, but if you want you can be in the police, but you can't be a hero. When All Might said that, he left and Izuku just lowered his head and walked away while breaking All Might's autograph. Izuku kept walking until he saw some boys bothering a girl. Boy 1. Baya, the little girl wants to cry. Boy 2. Maybe your parents aren't there to pay you something. At this, the girl was about to cry, and even more so when she saw that one of the boys was going to hit her, but before that happened, a new boy appeared and hit the first boy in the face. Izuku. Hey, leave her alone, she didn't do anything wrong to you. Boy 3. Hey, that's the boy that a green-haired girl is saying doesn't have power. Boy 4. So it's just a quirkles. Boy 1. Let's teach him a lesson. The girl only looked at the back of the boy who had helped her, and even if he was a quirkles, she didn't mind helping her. Izuku. Hey girl, this is your chance, go, I'll keep them busy. The girl, impressed by his action, said something to him while at the same time she was giving him a kind of coir in his hand. Girl. You're my hero. Izuku, shocked by his words. Izuku. It's nothing, now go. The girl only paid attention to the boy who stayed in front of the other boys. When she was running, she looked back and saw how that same boy was literally receiving a beating, although that boy did not mind receiving those hits for her, even though he did not have a quirk. A while passed, and Izuku could be seen lying on the floor with many blows, so he was unconscious. Izuku was floating in a kind of darkness that had no end. Izuku. If I had a quirk, I could protect everyone without a problem. Well, the symbol of peace told me that he doesn't hate being a hero, much less now. I think that you can be a hero. Izuku, who's there? Soy. The training. Izuku. Who's there? Soy. John Wick. Izuku. Hello John, and where are we? John. This is your mind. I am dead myself, but I decided before completely dying to leave my things to someone, and I found you, someone with a pure heart and at the same time, who can bring some peace to this world as a hero. Izuku. But I can't be a hero, I don't have a quirk, I can't do anything. John. You don't need to have a power, yes or yes, to save someone or be something very great. I could have been the greatest murderer without power, and also remember that girl you saved, she said that you are her hero. Apart from that, I tell you something, yes, you have a power that you have hidden within you, it just hasn't awakened yet, that's all. Izuku. You're serious. John. If I'm serious, look, I'm going to share my memories so you know everything. You're going to have to go to a specific place where all my fortune is and more. Izuku. Okay. After that, Izuku woke up with a bit of a headache because of the memories of John, knowing that he had to go to the US to take the things. When he got up, he saw that he had the necklace that girl had given him, which had a heart. Izuku. Well, I'll have to leave Japan, it's not a problem, I think. 3 months passed in which no one knows how Izuku was able to get to the US. When Izuku arrived, he went to a house which looked like someone lived there, but Izuku knows very well that no one lives in that house. He moved some rocks and found some keys. Thus entering the house without problems, Izuku went to the basement. When he saw that it was very big with great technology, Izuku turned on the computer by entering a specific password. Computer. Hello Mr. Wick, do you want to start your training today? Izuku gladly accepted, starting to train to be a great hero and discover his power that John mentioned to him. When he finished training, he took a bath and went to sleep. The next day when he woke up, he decided to make himself a coffee and opened a computer for how much money he had. Upon seeing the enormous amount of money, he spit out the coffee, so he decided to go to some places where he signed some papers for him to be John Wick's son and in the process collect his entire inheritance by being the only Wick alive. Once after all that, the years passed in which Izuku did not stop training for any reason. One day he discovered something surprising. Izuku was training fencing with a kind of robot which was in charge of being his servant and seeing the bank accounts and everything. Robot. You are not doing bad at all, my lord. Izuku. At least make it harder. The robot listened to him, increasing its speed, about to hit Izuku, who upon seeing this touched the sword-shaped stick, destroying it completely. At this, Izuku was excited since he finally awakened his quirk, but when he saw the robot he saw that it was damaged. Izuku. Jarvis, I'm so sorry. Jarvis. It's okay, my lord, after all you finally awakened your quirk. Jarvis was about to turn off, but when Izuku touched him on his damaged part, he could see how Jarvis was with all his parts again. Izuku. How come? Jarvis. My lord, apparently you have two quirks, with one you can destroy and the other create. Izuku. So this is what John was referring to. Jarvis. Apparently so. Since then they began to do tests in which they were able to come to the conclusion that Izuku could create with his left arm and destroy with his right arm. The rest of the years passed. At this time Izuku was traveling to Japan. When he arrived he bought a home. Izuku. Jarvis, tomorrow is the test to enter UA, isn't it? Jarvis. That's right, my lord, tomorrow will be the test. Entering the UA. The next day Izuku had gone to take the UA test, but he stopped in an alley where he heard something. Man 1. I already told you that this is the girl who belongs to that rich family. Man 2. I know I kidnapped her and everything, but that doesn't mean we don't play with her. When the man was about to touch it, he was sent to crash against the wall. Man 1. But what? Izuku. What a pig to be doing these kinds of things. When the girl saw the boy's back, that memory as a child came to mind when a boy defended her in the same way against those boys. Izuku. I have to do some important things, so why do we do this quickly? Then the two men they went against Izuku and the girl was scared by this. Izuku looked back seeing the girl and she could see his face. Izuku. Everything will be fine. The girl for some reason relaxed at this. When the men were about to reach Izuku out of nowhere, they were thrown into the air as if someone hit them. Izuku appeared his enzyme giving a blow to each one, causing them to crash to the ground, leaving them unconscious. The girl was only able to see Izuku's face. After that Izuku left the place at high speed because when he saw the time he realized that he had to take the UA test. When he arrived at the place he took the practical exam passing. When he was the physicist and present might gave the start, Izuku went at great speed, destroying a large number of robots in an observation room. That boy over there is destroying a lot of robots. I think it's time to release the 0 points. Where Izuku was, a great tremor began to be felt and a giant robot could be seen destroying the fake city. Izuku. That's 0 points. Izuku saw an orange-haired girl who was surrounded by the robots and realized that the 0 points were going to crush her, so he closed his eyes waiting for the end. When he felt that it was taking a while he opened them seeing a green-haired boy grabbing the foot of 0 points. Izuku. Run, I'll take care of this. The girl nodded in affirmation and ran away. Izuku in a quick movement left below the 0 points and after that took a big jump to use his power of destruction, passing through half of the 0 points, leaving it with a huge hole in what would be the chest. Once the test was finished, Izuku returned to his house, waiting to see if he entered or not. Jarvis. Sir, the mail has arrived. Naruto. Aver. The email showed a hologram in which it showed him that he was able to enter the UA. The day to go to the academy had arrived and Izuku was getting ready by putting on the UA suit. He also put on the necklace that girl had given him a while ago. Izuku left his house and took his motorcycle. When all the students were about to enter they heard a vehicle arriving and they paid attention, seeing that it was a motorcycle with which everyone was wondering who was driving it. Mineta. Who the hell is that stealing all the girls' attention? Izuku got off the motorcycle and took off his helmet. The girls thought he was a beautiful young man and at the same time they wondered if the boy was in their classroom. When everyone entered their classroom, Izuku noticed something very important. For him, Bakugo, Uraraka and Izumi were there. Among the girls they were talking about a specific topic. Girl 1. Hey Momo, that's the boy on the motorcycle. Momo saw him and remembered him. Momo. That's the boy Jiru saved me yesterday. Momo was about to go to greet him and thank him for yesterday, but the teacher had already arrived. Izawa. Everyone put on these suits. When they were putting on their UA suits Mineta found a hole. Mineta. Here a hole where we can see the girls. When Mineta was about to see he received a blow from Izuku. Izuku while cracking his hands. I hate perverts like you. The girls heard the screams of pain from the boys' bathroom, and when they came out all the girls asked what those screams were about. Mina. Kirishima, what were those screams about? Kirishima. Mineta found a hole so he wanted to look at them, but Izuku gave him a few hits and plugged the hole. The girls thanked Izuku, but noticed that he had some kind of necklace which he kept inside his clothes. Izawa. Izuku, you were first place in the entrance test, I want you to throw this ball using your quirk. Izuku. This. When Izuku took the ball, he thought about which arm to use, so he decided on the left one. When he threw the ball, he put a large amount of air into it. Pressure and some gas, making it start to go further away, but just at that moment Izuku generated some fire making it go further with the gas. Before this everyone was impressed by Izuku's score. Bakugo got angry because Izuku here returned and on top of that with great power. Izawa. If this excites you, the last one will be punished with expulsion. Bakugo went against Izuku making an explosion that tore part of his clothes, revealing his necklace and some bandages that had him clinging to Bakugo. Izawa. It would be better if you calm down. Everyone saw Izuku's necklace, and only one person noticed that necklace. All the tests were done, leaving Izuku in first place, only second behind Uraraka for his launch. When everyone was at the exit they began to ask Izuku about that necklace. Mina. Izuku-kun, does that necklace mean you have a girlfriend? Izuku. It doesn't have a very important meaning for me. When I was little I took the test to see my quirk. According to the doctor I didn't have any. One day I asked All Might a question that I found somewhere and it was if someone without a quirk could be a hero. Jiru. What was your response? Izuku. No, I didn't try. That same day I found a girl who was being bullied by 4 boys. I went to defend her. The boy said that she didn't have a quirk because my sister told her, and even though that was the case, I defended her. I told her let him leave while I was in charge of keeping them busy. The girl gave me this necklace and told me you are my hero. Sigh. But you do have a quirk. Izuku. Some time later I was able to awaken 2 quirks. Once everything was finished Izuku was about to leave, but Momo approached him. Izuku. What's wrong Momo? Momo. I wanted to thank you for opening saved me. Izuku. You're the girl from the alley. Momo. Yes, but I'm also the girl who gave you that necklace. Izuku was surprised at this. Izuku. Thank you very much for that. After that they said goodbye. When Izumi thought she had the opportunity to talk to Izuku he started to leave, but saw Momo. Izuku. Are you waiting for someone? Momo. I don't think my driver is coming. Izuku. Hop on and I'll take you, by the way my last name is Wick, Izuku Wick. Momo was surprised by the last name since she knew that he was one of the rich families. She got on the motorcycle and put on the helmet. Izuku took her to her house passing the bars and leaving her in front of the door, through which he was just her parents came out and were going to look for her. Heroes vs Villains test. At this moment Izuku was in front of Momo's door to take her to a flashback. The 2 of them were in front of Momo's parents. Izuku. Hello. Momo. Who are you? Momo. It's a classmate who brought me because the driver didn't come. Momo's mother saw the necklace and remembered when Momo told her about that boy who helped her, and also because of the description her daughter gave her of the boy who saved her from those kidnappers. All of that fit with the boy she had in front of her. Momo. Daughter, that's the boy you told us about. Momo. See. Momo. Well, how about you come tomorrow and pick up my daughter because the driver won't be able to come for a while because a villain attacked him, obviously if you want. Izuku. I don't have any problem sir. End of flashback. Once Momo left, she got on Izuku's motorcycle and they went straight to UA. When they arrived, everyone looked at the 2 of them, although the girls were already angry because they thought that the boy already had a girlfriend. When they got off, an orange-haired girl got off. I approach him. Girl. Hello, I'm Kendo from class 1B. Izuku. Hello, I'm Izuku Wick and this is my classmate Momo Yaoi Rozu from Hero Class 1A, but you're not that girl who saved the tests. Kendo. Yes, it's me. She said this somewhat surprised, like the rest, because of his last name, because there was only one person who had that last name, the famous assassin John Wick, who without needing a quirk could kill anyone, and if this boy had that last name, that meant that he was his son apart from knowing very well that the Wicks had a great fortune. Kendo. And she's your girlfriend. Izuku. Not only her parents asked me if I could bring her and take her for a few days. After that everyone went to their classrooms so there would be a lot of talk about Izuku, since he was the last Wick alive. In Izuku's classroom they were waiting for his teacher, but All Might would enter through the door and tell them to leave. They put on their hero costumes, and when everyone was leaving there would be 2 people missing. Uraraka. All Might is missing 2 people. That's when Mineta would fly away. Izuku. Sorry for the delay, it's just that little pervert wanted to make another hole in the wall. Izuku arrived showing his hero suit. It would be this one, but the vest would be longer, reaching almost to his feet. Noticing his well-defined body that he had made the girls blush, they would begin to choose the teams, being Izuku and Momo against Bakugo and Izumi the villains. They were ready to enter. All Might. You can begin. Izuku with his right arm entered the place without problems, starting to walk. Momo. Izuku-kun, what are we going to do? Izuku. Bakugo will surely come first, while Izumi will be taking care of the bomb. They were making their plan. Momo. Well, when Bakugo arrived. Izuku. For sure now. He said it while covering Momo from Bakugo's attack, who seemed to want to kill Izuku. Izuku. Momo starts the plan. Momo left while Bakugo tried to hit him with his right arm, but Izuku grabbed him to lift him into the air and crash him against the floor. Bakugo tried to give Izuku an explosion, but he dodged it easily. Every time Bakugo tried to hit him, but they blocked it and hit him as Izuku defended himself and attacked Bakugo, who seemed to have no chance against Izuku, who had the fight dominated. Bakugo. Damn it. Bakugo pointed at Izuku with his arm ready to launch the attack. Izuku moved away to stay still. When Bakugo removed the safety and the attack was against Izuku, he did not bother to move. Everyone thought that Izuku was already dead. When the attack reached Izuku, a large explosion was generated when the dust dispersed and Izuku could be seen with his right arm extended. Everyone was surprised, but it did not last long since Izuku appeared in front of Bakugo, giving him a blow that made him kneels in pain. Izuku. Understand, you can never beat me. Bakugo tried to take out the other safety, but a bat hit him in the head courtesy of Momo. Izuku. Everything according to plan, let's finish this as quickly as possible. In the bomb room the door opened. Before Izumi could do anything, Izuku touched the floor, causing some pieces of seed to trap her under Izumi, thus winning the heroes. When they went to the observation room, Izuku called him. The attention was drawn to a fight that involved a white-haired girl on one side and a red-haired girl with a scar on her face on the other, which froze the entire building to the observation room. Mina. Izuku, you're not cold about this? Izuku. No, when I trained I literally did it even in the snow. Momo with a little sadness and a blush. Izuku-kun, could you give me your jacket? When Izuku gave it to her, he could see how it covered herself with her jacket and stopped shaking. Momo. How warm. Izuku. That's part of the jacket. The others wanted something like that, so Izuku created more of that, so the girls each took it, which made Izuku sweat a little. At the exit, Izuku was taking Momo home, leaving her. The attack on the UA Part 1. Already at UA, the same thing always happened. Izuku carrying Momo, entering the class and putting order, something almost typical of every day since Bakugo tried to attack him. Today would be a day in which the president of the class would be elected and Aizawa would make an announcement. Aizawa. Today you will have a new partner. The blonde girl that Izuku recognized entered through the door. The girl went to sit next to Izuku. Girl. Hi Izuku-kun. Izuku. Hello Melissa. Mina. Do you know each other? Izuku. When I was in the US and returned to Japan, I decided to spend some time on that island where there are scientists. Melissa. And I had to give him a tour of the entire island. Izuku. Those times were good. Melissa will be the heir to one for all just like Izumi. Aizawa. Today they have to elect the class president. Almost immediately there was chaos in the room as everyone but a few wanted that position until Izuku got tired and calmed the place down by silencing everyone. Izuku. You can shut up, this has to be put to a vote. If everyone keeps saying I, this will only be chaos. Everyone paid attention. The votes would be like the original story, with Izuku being the president and Momo seeing her as president. Already in the dining room when the alarm rang and everyone was pushing each other, Izuku touched the floor so that before anyone passes through the main door they can pass. Everyone paid attention to Izuku since he made a pillar under him for everyone to see. Izuku said the same thing as Lita in the original story, already at the exit. Izuku. Melissa, where do you live? Melissa. The truth is I have to search. Izuku sighed. You can stay at my house if you want. Izuku gave him the keys to the house and paid for a taxi to arrive. After he took Momo to his house and upon arriving at his house he entered seeing that Melissa had already left all her belongings. Izuku. So you'll be at UA. Melissa. Yes, my parents thought it was a good idea since there is Uncle All in you. Izuku. Yuvio. Izuku started cooking and Melissa was helping since she wanted to do something while living with Izuku. The next day Izuku had time to buy a car. Izuku and Melissa got in and went to Momo's house. When they arrived she didn't understand, but when she saw Melissa she already understood why the car was there. The two of them were in the back since from one day to the next they got along very well. When they arrived at UA, everyone was wondering about the car until they saw Izuku get out of the car just like the girls. Mineta. Izuku, you're also looking for Melissa now. Izuku. In fact she lives with me. Everyone was surprised by that. Momo. And you didn't tell me. She said it a little angry. Izuku. What's wrong? You also want to live with me, there is room in my house. The girls saw that Izuku offered that and asked what the house was like, so Izuku showed them a photo. Imagine the biggest one. When everyone saw that Izuku lived in the house, they wanted to go, but a certain black woman beat them to it. Already within the course it would be said to go to a place where they could use their quirks. Already on the bus everyone was talking about their quirks. Mina. Melissa, what quirk do you have? Melissa. It's hard to describe, but it's the same as All Might. Many were surprised by this fact. Mina. This is Izuku. Izuku. Well, I can create and destroy. Momo. Like my creation. Izuku. No, well you have to use your body's fluids, I just have to think to make it happen like this, there's nothing else I can do with my left arm. Mina. Why your arm? Izuku because my left side can only create while the right side can only destroy. Sai. You mean like when Bakugo threw that attack at you and he just stretched out his right arm? Izuku. Yes, another example if All Might used his quirk against with a fist, I only need to use my right arm to nullify the attack so that nothing happens to me. Upon arrival they entered the place finding Hero 13, who would explain everything in the original story, but a portal would open in the middle of the place showing villains, in Izuku's mind. Izuku. Something funny. The attack on the UA Part 2. When all the villains came out of the portal, it became smaller showing that it was a villain with a portal quirk, and other two that were the ones that caught the most attention were a man with hands on his body and a kind of super chicken that looked like who took steroids as much as he could. Shigaraki. Kurogiri All Might was supposed to be in this place, but he's not here. What are we going to do with all these villains? Kurogiri. Well from what I see those are his students so if we beat them up a little I think he will come. Shigaraki. In that case we will continue with the plan. Izawa. 13 Take the students from this place, I'll take care of these guys. Izawa went against the villains, while 13 tried to get the students out of danger, but Kurogiri would be in front of them surrounding them with what seemed to be his body to teleport them to different places. Kurogiri. We are. He couldn't finish speaking due to a small interruption. Izuku. Nobody cares about that. Izuku made Kurogiri's low ground rise to hit making him turn to Shigaraki. Izuku looked in the direction of his teacher Izawa and could see that the villains that were scattered throughout the area were going to the center where Izawa was. Izuku. Professor 13 please take everyone out of here and ask for help, I'm going to help Izawa-sensei. 13. Izuku no. He couldn't finish speaking as Izuku jumped onto the battlefield. Izawa was surrounded by many villains, but just at that moment Izuku appeared in front of him making a shock wave, causing the villains to fly away. Izawa. Izuku you shouldn't. Izuku. I know that very well, but I'm going to help you, you take care of those on the left, and I take care of those on the right. Apparently a villain made it impossible to take the entrance, so we are alone for the moment. Izawa just paid attention, and each one went their own way, defeating each villain that stood in their way, making the group of villains that brought Shigaraki, who himself was a little frustrated, hurting himself. Shigaraki. This was not what I expected. Kurogiri. I think we'll have to send Nomu. Shigaraki. You're right, it would be better to send it, but not against them, but against other Nomu attacks them. Pointing at the students so the Nomu would listen to him going against them, who upon seeing the Nomu do something to them, were about to hit them with his arms, but Izuku appeared in time stopping the Nomu. Melissa. Izuku. Izuku. Your opponent is me. Izuku kicked him away. Izuku. As long as I'm here you won't get hurt. Izuku went against the Nomu just as he went against Izuku, the Nomu tried to hit him, but Izuku barely dodged it to give him a hook that took him away. Izuku began to create a kind of armor to protect himself from the blows of Nomu gave him a kick, followed by 3 blows that should have at least broken his ribs, and then fired a type of lightning that further removed the Nomu who was left lying on the floor. Izuku. That will show who's boss and stay on the floor. Izuku turned to continue against Shigaraki, but heard a scream. Melissa. Izuku be careful. Izuku turned around, receiving a blow from Nomu on the head and then receiving another one in his stomach and about 2 more that sent him flying, crashing into a wall. His mask and the right part of his arm broke, the Nomu took a big jump. Arriving at Izuku but before he did anything Izuku hit him in the stomach with his power of destruction, leaving the Nomu without his half. Everyone was going to celebrate, but they watched in horror as the Nomu got up and his half returned. Izuku did not lose time, so he hit it a few times to make it go away, but it didn't go away like before. The Nomu looked at him. Izuku. I don't think it was a good idea. The Nomu attacked Izuku, giving him a few blows that almost destroyed his armor completely, leaving him in the middle of the area. The others tried to go help him, but the Nomu gave a scream that made everyone stay still. Izuku. I never thought I would use this so soon, but the situation warrants it. When Izuku got up, you could see that his skin looked a little more metallic and his eyes were barely shining. Izuku. Get this serious. Shigaraki. Once defeated, it is designed to withstand the impacts it receives, it will become stronger. Izuku. Thanks for the information, but that has to have some limits. Izuku went against Nomu, starting to give him a large number of blows that went at a high speed, making the Nomu unable to protect himself from those impacts. He could not regenerate or get stronger due to the impacts due to the speed at which he was going. Everyone was impressed by how Izuku was little by little taking control of everything. Izuku. This is your end. When Izuku gave the last blow, a large curtain of dust was created. Everyone believed that he won, but when the dust dispersed, everyone changed their faces of happiness for one of horror when they saw that in what would be Izuku's last blow, he passed through a portal. In that way failing and the Nomu had its claws were in the mouth of Izuku's stomach, causing him to spit out a large amount of blood. Izuku. It was seen that the Nomu when it took out its claws began to torture Izuku. His companions went to help but were sent flying by the Nomu until Izawa and 13 were defeated. Shigaraki. Where were those words that as long as you are here you will not let anything happen to them? Izuku. I'm the one who has to protect them. Izuku got up with his body releasing some rays. Izuku hit him with a blow that sent him away and then he went against him, hitting a great combo of blows. In one of those he made the Nomu crash against the wall. Izuku couldn't standing for a long time so that he almost falls to the floor. Before the Nomu did anything, the doors flew, showing an upset All Might. From now on, the fight between All Might and Nomu would take place like the original story without any villain getting involved. In one move, the Nomu attempted to hit him. A blow to Melissa, but she was pushed by someone so the Nomu hit and sent him crashing against the wall. When the dust dispersed a very injured Izuku was seen in front of all of whom were worried because if he couldn't get away before. Move now he shouldn't even breathe, but the Nomu was not stable because you could see that his belly had a huge hole that Izuku made in it. Izuku. All Might, now he won't be able to regenerate for a while, take this opportunity and kill this monster. When Izuku said that he fell to the floor making everyone think that he died, All Might when he saw this exploded with anger going against the Nomu whom he massacred without mercy, passing the original story, the heroes arriving and Tamura's retreat, when they approached Izuku and noticed that he was still alive. Hiroshima. All Might, Izuku is still alive. When everyone heard that, they quickly took him to the hospital so that he could recover from those damages. Izuku's house. After the attack on the UA, Izuku was in the hospital waking up from a coma after receiving all those attacks from the Nomu, but luckily for him, All Might arrived to be able to fight. Izuku. Where am I? That's when two girls attack him. Melissa Momo. Izuku. Izuku. Oh, I still haven't fully recovered, you know. Melissa. I'm sorry, we were really worried when you got hit by that thing and fell to the floor. Momo. For a moment we thought you were dead, don't do that again. Izuku. Well, I'm conscious and I can get up now, let's just go to the UA. Momo. Well, my driver is already outside waiting to take us. When they left they took the limousine going to the UA. When they arrived they all saw the limousine that they had not seen in a long time, but it caught their attention when they saw that Momo, Melissa, the richest girl in the UA, and the girl of the most intelligent man got out of the limousine. That under Izuku, the boy who fought against the villains, he and his teacher Izawa alone until All Might arrived, with only 3 missing, 2 who did almost nothing and the other who had been fighting with Izuku for a while, being the strongest, apart from being from the Wick family, one of the families famous for having rich people and having the great assassin John Wick. The boys were jealous since he was with 2 beautiful girls and the girls for the same reason, only with Izuku, they walked until they reached his classroom entering it and taking everyone's attention. Hiroshima. Hey Izuku, a true man among men. Haminari. You're still alive. Mina. You already left the hospital. Jiru. This is good. Izuku. I'm still alive and kicking. That's where Izawa comes in saying the same thing about the original story of the festival so most would celebrate. Momo. Izuku forgot to tell you that my parents allowed me to live in your house. Izuku. How? When that? Momo. Since you said you don't care if someone else lives in your house, talk to Melissa so now all my luggage is in your house. Melissa. Besides, this will be good since we can train for the festival. Mina. I'm also going to your house to train. Jiru. I'm going too. Hiroshima. Hey Izuku, can I go too? Joji. I would like to go too. Izuku. At least some of them ask and if they can go I have a place for them to go. In the dining room everyone was looking at Izuku, but he didn't care. Kendo. Hola Izuku. Izuku. Hola Kendo. Kendo. Hey Izuku, I heard that you let some people go to your house so you could live for a while and to train. Izuku. You are. Hendo. And also that some go without having asked you. Izuku. You are. Hendo. Can I go too? My quirk isn't very useful. Izuku. You can go, I don't see why not. Hendo. Some friends are a little embarrassed, but they wonder if you let them go too. Izuku. I don't see the problem. Hendo. Their names are Mei and Ryuko. Izuku. Well, tomorrow I'll pick you all up. That's when Shota approaches him. Izuku. What's wrong? Tomi. I know they are going to train, I think I will need your help. Izuku. Well, I don't have any problems. When Izuku got home with the two girls, they went to eat, Izuku being the one who cooked when they went to sleep. The next day when he woke up and wanted to get up, but he felt an extra weight seeing that it was Momo and Melissa. Izuku. What are you doing there? It has its rooms. Melissa. Shut up. Momo. My pillow doesn't talk. Izuku. We have to get up. The two saw that there were 3 hours left to go since Izuku got up at that time to train, so they hit him. Melissa. It's too early. Momo. Sleep more. After that the whole normal day passed until Izuku had to pick them up. When they all got home, they were impressed by how the whole house was. Izuku. This place is the pools, this is the machinery room. This made Mei get stars. Mina. Where do Momo and Melissa sleep? Izuku. They claimed my room so they sleep with me. Mei. You say we can sleep with you. Izuku. I never said that, what happened is that I fell asleep and the next day I woke up with them two on top of me. Jiru. Is anyone else missing? Izuku. I saw the storm. That's when they knock on the door, it being Kaminari, so I enter. Jarvis. Sir, everything is ready for the guests to relax. Ryuko. What is that? Izuku. I present to you, Jarvis, a program that I created to see my accounts and maintain order in this house. Jarvis, let me introduce myself, I'm Jarvis. Do you want something? Hendo. Let's try, can you send pictures of Izuku without his shirt and pants to my phone? Jarvis. If I can, do you want me to send you images between you and him? Hendo. Yes. Izuku. Jarvis, don't you dare. That's when Kendo's phone rings with the images he asked for, but he almost gets a runny nose when he gets images of her and him in bed doing unholy things. Izuku. Well, that's fine, let's just relax. At that point everyone went their own way, the girls went to a hot springs class, and the boys went into a bar. Hiroshima. Izuku bro, what is this place? Izuku. I made this place with one goal. To be alone in a place where women don't do anything to us, I call it the men's zone. In that you see a bar that had a pool table, a door that led to a sauna room and a part where there were games. Kaminari sat on a cushioned chair. Kaminari. And all drinks are legal. Izuku handed him a drink. Izuku. Everything within the law. Joji. It looks like you were busy in this place. Izuku. Yes, since not even Jarvis can enter, if Jarvis could enter, the girls would take the opportunity to enter. Hiroshima. I never thought I would be in a place like this. On the girl's side. Melissa. Hey Tomi, you're interested in Izuku. Tomi. How can you say that? Momo stands behind her. Momo. We saw your expressions when you are close to him or you look at him, it wasn't that difficult. Hendo. Hey, it seems like they want to share Izuku, what do they say if they include us? Melissa. We'll see. After that, the training days began in which everyone trained hard, in which they obtained great improvements in their skills and way of fighting, with the help of Izuku. Melissa. How do you think it will be? Izuku. I don't know, I just know that we will have to do our best. Festival. After each one arrived at Izuku's house and stayed in each room, and Melissa showed the girls the parts of the house where they could relax and Izuku showed the boys where they can be in peace. The days passed and each one he made great progress, although for Izuku every night was worse, since the girls would sneak into his room sleeping on him and using him as a pillow. When the day of the festival arrived, everyone got into Izuku's vehicle to get there. When they arrived, they attracted attention of everyone, but after a while when they were changing, the same thing happened from the original story to the part where they had to give the speech, with Izuku being the one who said it. Izuku. Well, I don't have much to say, so I hope you do your best and show your great skills. After that everyone went to the exit door ready to start. Izuku. Let's see, something is going to happen and I'm sure Tomi is going to freeze the entrance. Just as Izuku said, when the start alarm rang, Tomi froze the entrance, but Izuku was not far behind, making a big jump across the ice to be alongside Tomi. Izuku. You thought you could pass me that easily? Tomi. No, but I can freeze you. Before anyone could do anything, they saw the robots in front, so Tomi just froze each of the robots that got in their way, and Izuku crossed them without any problem. After passing by the robots, Tomi decided to put his left side pointing back and straight towards an ice road while remembering something. Flashback, Tomi and Izuku were talking. Izuku. Since I see that his right side can make ice, I think the left side can make fire. Tomi. Why do you say that? Izuku. Your hair gave it away. When I saw you training, I noticed that you released small parts of fire. Tomi. Yes, and what? I'm not going to use that side at the sports festival. Tomi would tell him why he had a burn on his face. Izuku. Well, we all have bad parents at times, but that side of fire is amazing, although everyone at the festival is not going to hold back, and neither are you want to be a great heroine, show it at the festival, you don't have to care if that side bothers you. Your father found it. And flashback. At that Tomi brings out a large amount of fire, which with his right hand creates his ice path. Izuku. I see you decided to use it, I'll go with everything too. Izuku puts one of his hands on the ground and is then propelled by a pillar of earth, being back next to Tomi. Bakugo saw this with rage since the two of them surpassed him in this, they passed by where they had a big fall with ease to be in the area of the explosives, so they would have to be more careful where they walk. Izuku. This has a pattern because of the way they put it. Tomi looked closely at what he was referring to see the pattern. When he noticed it, the two of them did the same thing again to go faster because they were already close to the end of the race. Tomi. Don't think you're going to beat me. Izuku. I wouldn't say the same. So that she can see how some of the explosives were in Izuku's pillar. Izuku. I borrowed this just in case this happens. At that Izuku activates all of them so that there is a big explosion and Izuku flies to the exit to enter it and ran as far as he could, although he saw that Tomi was catching up with him, so he ran as far as he could until he arrived. First, Tomi second and Bakugo third, after that each of the students were arriving until Izuku noticed how Momo was arriving behind him was Mineta. Momo already wanted to take it off, but he felt like he was no longer looking back. Seeing Izuku who had Mineta in his hand who was very afraid. Izuku. Too bad for you, shorty, we'll have a little talk, Momo just see that I'll catch up with you in a while. A while later, Izuku was seen leaving the place walking. Izuku. We had a good talk Mineta, but please don't repeat it. He said it while you could see a Mineta all beaten up and thrown in the trash. Festival. After Izuku came in first place, the rules of the next part, which would be cavalry, were explained, so Izuku was looking for companions, but some approached him. Momo. Izuku. What do you think if we team up? Izuku, alright. Melissa. I want to join the team too. Hiroshima. Why yo? Izuku. Well we're all complete now, we just need to see who should be on top. Momo. That must not be you. Izuku. It doesn't have to be one of you two since you are less heavy. That's what they were thinking until they decided that Momo would go on top, with Izuku in front and Kirishima with Melissa in the back. Midnight. Ready, begin. At that point all the teams went to Izuku's team, but this one already figured it out. Momo. Here they come. Izuku. I know, everyone just take a step forward but hold on well. That's when they did it and Izuku stepped hard, making a big tremor causing a big wall to form, avoiding the teams. Izuku. Let's hurry up because it's surely surrounding everything. This makes them rise in the air by a pillar until they are at the top and then make a ramp and go down the other side. When they came down they began to run, avoiding all the teams that were nearby. Hiroshima. Hey Izu bro don't we have to attack? Izuku. We don't have the highest score so we'll just have to avoid them all. At that, a kind of machine hits Kirishima in the face and when he looks at where it came from, he saw a group that had Ryuko, Kendo, Kaminari and Tomi. Hiroshima. Hey, Izuku I already want to attack. Izuku. Don't worry, patience can give us victory. At that point he hits another machine in the face, but this time at Izuku. Izuku. Well we can let that go. And that he gives him another one. Izuku. We can still bear it. And that he gives another. Izuku. Well, that's it now, let's go. And when he turns to see them Tomi hits him with a snowball in the face. Melissa. I think now we are going to attack. Momo. Izuku, teams are approaching. Izuku looks at how some teams were coming in front, which caused the floor to begin to be destroyed, causing those who were going for them to lose their stability, which they took advantage of in a quick movement. They got their points without any problem, but when they realized they were in the middle of everyone. Lita tried to go after them, but a stick appeared in front of her and hit her in the face. Izuku. That's what happens to you for going too fast, Momo covers us. Momo. Of what? Izuku. I want you to do something against electricity. At that Momo created a tarp that prevented the electricity that covered everyone except Izuku. Izuku noticed how Kaminari launched a large amount of electricity, so he only waited until when he received it fully with a lot of effort. He made many metal rods that they were all united so they lengthened, touching all the teams that were nearby. Izuku. That hurt. Momo. Izuku, are you okay? Izuku. Yes, but hey, we have to continue. And that he notices how Tomi's team, being the same, covered its back with a large wall of ice. Izuku, knowing what he wanted to do, made a wall behind him until it touched Tomi's ice, leaving a single exit through which the team entered. From Bakugo. Izuku. I think this won't be pretty by the time it's over. Tomi. You're right about that. Bakugo. This will be a damn massacre. At that, the three groups head towards each other. Bakugo was already preparing an explosion, Tomi was removing eyes, and Izuku put his two arms, one to protect his companions and the other to attack the others when they were about to collide with each other. The alarm sounded that everything was over. Fights. Once the second part of the festival was over, everyone took a break in which Izuku was currently in front of Tomi, who had a serious face as was normal for her, although they were alone and Izuku didn't know why. Izuku. Tomi, why did you want to see me alone in this part of the place? Tomi. My father wants me to be the number, and since you are the strongest I have to beat you, yes or yes, and I will do it without using my father's part. I will win this festival. Izuku, upon hearing that, became more serious than normal to Tomi's surprise since she was expecting another expression from him. Izuku. I understand why you want to win this festival, why you are number one, and why you don't want to use your father's side, but everyone is going to use the best of themselves to win the festival, so if you want to be number one, a great heroine, you don't have to care about your father's side. That power is now yours, you are the one who should show that power, not your father. At that point he stops being a little serious to approach Tomi, touching his cheek on the side of the scar. Izuku. Besides, your fire quirk is great, don't let yourself be controlled by your father or anything like that, it doesn't matter if you use it because you will still be yourself, the girl that I love so much. That's when I saw her blush because of what she said last. After that Izuku leaves the place. Once a while passed, she called everyone. Midnight. Well, from Class B comes Shinso, and from Class A, Izuku Wick is seen as the strongest. Everyone was surprised by the surname because everyone knew about that surname that was so feared worldwide. Midnight. Well, you can begin now. At that Shinso asks Izuku some questions, but before he answered them he remembered that Kendo told him about his quirk, so he just stayed silent to walk towards Shinso slowly with an aura that only a true Wick can bring out, making everyone have him. Fear, and Shinso was taking a few steps back until he was left without a path because he saw how if he took one more step he would fall. Shinso. Hey, we can talk a little at least. Izuku didn't respond, he just got close enough to make a movement as if he was going to attack, causing Shinso to get scared, pulling back, causing him to fall off the platform. Midnight. Shinso lost. Izuku's mind. Don't even touch it. But that he goes to the stands where he sat with the others. Kirishima. Hey, that was great, you didn't even touch it. Izuku. It was thanks to Kendo that he warned me about his quirk. In Tomi's fight, it happened like the original story, except that when he had to defrost his opponent, he showed his flames to go up to the stands where he sat, although angering the girls who sat on Izuku. Izuku. What are you doing? Tomi. It is almost a tradition in my family that if a woman from the Shotos is helped like the way you helped me, we can choose him as a fiancé, yes or no. Momo. And you chose yes. Tomi. I wasn't going to leave him alone if he didn't receive love. That's what Izuku's face is about, is her breasts. Melissa. How come? Now putting Izuku's face on her breasts. Tomi. Just look at him, every day he takes them and brings them back and doesn't even seem to receive anything from you in the slightest. At that point the girls would be fighting until those from Class B got in, so some students had to leave, but through the door the boys saw something, hands placing themselves on the door, followed by showing Izuku's head. Izuku. Ayuden men. At that point he lets go because something pulled him in, but Kirishima and Kaminari managed to grab his arms. Kirishima. Aizu bro Gwanta. Kaminari. We'll get you out of there. They pulled until they were released, entering the place. Kaminari. We lost it. He said it while kneeling while she shed a few tears. Kirishima. At least he died in the most manly way possible. Okoyami. I'm going to prepare his funeral. After that the other fights were normal, with the only thing being that Melissa's was against Mina, Melissa winning, and Izumi's against Kaminari, Kaminari winning because she trained with Izuku. Fights 2. After the first round of the fights finished, it was seen who would be the next fighters in the place, the next fight being between Izuku Wick and Tomi Shoto. The two of them went up to the platform looking at each other, although this caused a small blush in their eyes. Midnight. You may begin. At that Tomi launches a large amount of ice which Izuku dodged with ease, although he noticed how another enormous amount of ice more than the previous one was coming against him, so he only moved 1 foot and made a wall that protected him, followed by making him. The wall collapsed, destroying the ice along the way, which was used by Izuku to go against him, although Tomi made an ice wall to prevent it. Izuku. We know very well that you are going to need more than that. As soon as he touches the ice, he makes a hole in it, but as he passed he couldn't see Tomi until a pillar of ice hit him above, causing him to crash against the floor, causing a slight tremor throughout the place, just as they were about to give up. Winner. Tomi, the ice pillar broke into pieces, which Izuku took to throw at Tomi, who covered herself with the wall she made before, but in a second, where she was, it was broken by Izuku, who threw fire at the ice on his back. Side making a huge layer of steam. In the layer of steam Izuku took Tomi by the waist and brought her closer to him, making her blush. Izuku. Tomi, everyone is giving their best at this festival to be great heroes, but you are holding back everything. Stop repressing that side you have inside and let it out. Tomi. You're going to need more than that. Izuku. If you do it, I'll give you a prize. Outside the layer of steam everyone was looking attentively until at one point the entire layer of steam was showing at Tomi with the fire and an Izuku who was moved away but noticed something, so he made a dome around him and went away. I take off my shirt. Blushing Midnight. What are you doing? Izuku. My shirt is fireproof. Then he throws the shirt into the dome so that a Tomi comes out who was wearing Izuku's shirt while hers had the left side torn, meaning that one of her breasts could be seen. Izuku. At least that would be better. Tomi. Thank you. At that Tomi throws fire at him, with which Izuku throws water to counter the attack, but he did not wait for a huge amount of ice to appear, hitting him squarely, causing him to almost leave the stands, but he was able to stop in time to dodge the ice and fire. Tomi approached her little by little as she walked away, but she managed to hit him with her fire, pushing him away. Tomi. Let's get this over with. Izuku. Whatever you want. At that Tomi launches her best attack at Izuku, but although Cementos tries to stop her, he fails to do so. Izuku was about to dodge it, but he looked behind him and saw that all the people were there, so he stayed in place. The attack when he reached Izuku. He extended one of his arms and when the attack touched him, everyone behind Izuku saw how he was stopping the attack. When Tomi's attack ended, he created a large cloud of dust which, when he left, Tomi could be seen in the floor outside the platform because Izuku sent a pillar to take her out of the place. When they looked at Izuku they saw that his arm with which he stopped the attack was completely burned and had multiple wounds. Midnight. Izuku is the winner. At that, the people gave a shout of happiness, although they were worried since they noticed how Izuku was giving marks of pain on his face just by moving, so some doctors took him away. Present might. It was a great way to end this fight. At that point he receives a blow from Izawa. Izawa. Shut up. What Izuku did was receive the attack, he could dodge it, but he noticed that if that attack continued, it would hit the people behind him. That left everyone in shock because Izuku risked himself to keep everyone safe. Fights 3. After Izuku's fight against Shinso and Tomi showing that he could fight against whom, he continued as if nothing had happened, but now he would have to fight against Bakugo. The two looked at each other intently, as if they had something personal between the two of them, and that they would fix it right now, apart from determining who was going to be the strongest in the place in front of everyone. Bakugo. I'm sorry. Izuku. Wait, as far as I know, I'm the one from the murdering family, not you. Bakugo. I don't care, you damn bastard. Izuku. Seriously, you have anger problems and very serious ones. When they started, Bakugo went at Izuku at full speed to try to give him an explosion, but he was dodged by Izuku, who seemed to not even make an effort for a single moment every time he dodged him, but before he could achieve anything, Izuku gave him a blow. Blow that lifted him into the air to take his leg to hit the ground until a crater formed, but Bakugo managed to free himself to give him an explosion. Bakugo. What did you think of that? Izuku. Not bad, but it would have had a greater effect if I didn't use a shield in time. Bakugo. I hate you even more every time. At that Izuku hit him in the face to proceed with a combo of punches and kicks, which Bakugo could do nothing against, and the rain of attacks he received, but he managed to give him an explosion, followed by a blow to the face to continue. With more explosions as he screamed die, it already seemed like he really wanted to kill him, but they came out of the explosions taking Bakugo by the mouth to lift him up. Izuku. Now that was a good attack. It was obvious that Izuku was injured by the explosions, but he slammed Bakugo against the ground to throw him into the air to jump and hit him with a sledgehammer, causing him to end up on the ground in a small crater that he formed with his body. Izuku just hit him. Looked. Izuku. Come on, show me everything you have. Bakugo. Bastard, you had to be dead for a while. Izuku. Come on, don't talk too much. And that Bakugo goes against Izuku, but in a quick movement he manages to hit him several times, so that with one he takes him off the platform, giving Izuku the winner, passing like the original story, but in first place to Izuku, in second Bakugo, and in third Tomi, because they gave him one more chance finishing in third place. Izuku was walking through the hallways, but ran into Izumi. Izumi. Good fight. Izuku. Thank you. At that point he passes by, but the girl corners him by putting her hand on the wall, while Izuku had his back against the wall looking at Izumi, but very close than he needed. Izumi. For how long do you think you can ignore me? I'm your sister. At that Izuku grabs Izumi by the waist so that they can now change roles. Izuku. 1. I changed my blood completely a while ago, so we are no longer brothers. 2. I know about the feelings you have towards me, since we were little. 3. Now that is possible. Izumi was blushing at that. Izumi. Baka, then why? Izuku. I didn't talk to you before because you didn't come closer. In that case he gets closer, making them redder than before. Izuku. But don't worry, you'll have a chance. In that case, Izumi was left completely red because of how her ex-brother had just treated her. Now she could have relations with him, so she would tell her mother when the time came. The Sanshas. After the sports festival, the students of Wano were already well known to everyone, although the best known was Izuku for being the winner of this festival, finishing in first place in all the parts. Right now, Izuku only woke up as usual seeing the girl's enzyme is sleeping. Izuku. We have to get up. Momo. One more time. Izuku. Here comes a group of girls who want to take me with them. Out of nowhere everyone around Izuku stood up, surrounding him in a protective manner. Hendo. Where are the bitches? After that they went to have breakfast and then went to UA, where each one went their own way entering their respective class. When Izawa arrived he mentioned about the internships, so each student was choosing their own, although Izuku had too many, and the boy took one. Kirishima. Izu bro, which one are you going to? Izuku. Apparently there is one to be with Endeavor. Kirishima. It seems that Tomi is also going there. Some girls like Momo and Melissa, upon hearing that, saw Izuku and Tomi who were separated from each other. A while passed and each one went to their respective place. When Tomi and Izuku arrived at theirs, they walked until they met Endeavor. Endeavor. Well, everyone, put on your hero costume, we will be patrolling soon. The two did as requested although Izuku left before Tomi. Endeavor. Boy, you are amazing, you were able to make my daughter use her other side. Izuku. I only showed him what was correct, but I'm curious why this happened from the beginning. The two of them stared at each other until Tomi came out so they could start patrolling for a few days. Endeavor. Listen, this is your last day so I want you to take a good look at everything around you and Tomi, don't be weak. The girl lowered her head but felt Izuku's hand, so she showed a smile. Izuku. Hey, Endeavor, she's not weak, I verified it at the sports festival. Endeavor. Boy, do you want to question me? He said them while looking at Izuku, followed by lighting his flames more, but Izuku took a step in front of him, staring in a threatening way. Izuku. I'm just saying that she's not weak at all, so I would like it if you would do me the favor of not calling her that way again. Endeavor. You show no respect to your elders. Izuku. Right now you and I are like heroes so there are no adults in the place. The two stared at each other until there was an explosion, and they ran until they saw Nomu attacking, so Endeavor went to fight, but Izuku and Tomi received a message, so they started running. Tomi. Izuku, thanks for defending me. Izuku. It's nothing. When they arrived at the place Izuku sent a pillar of earth that collided with Stain the hero killer. Izuku. Tomi, take Lita, I'll take care of him. Izuku went against Stain who threw a knife at him, but he took the knife to throw it at Stain, giving him a cut on the cheek, followed by giving him a blow that raised him into the air to take him by the leg and throw him away. When Stain began to run, Izuku hit the ground, causing it to break, causing Stain to lose his balance, but before he could do anything, a large amount of fire came out of Izuku's side, which hit Stain squarely. Izuku. Well, if we fight together we will finish him off quickly. The two went against Stain although Tomi stayed behind, while Izuku created a sword to clash against Stain to start a sword duel which neither of them backed away, but when Stain wanted to move he couldn't, and when he saw well it was ice, so he looked at a path of ice of the Vi color, so that Naruto gave him a blow that took him out of the place to give him a kick that raised him in the air followed. I fire from Tomi so that he made an ice pillar defeating Stain. When the other heroes arrived I explain everything to them. Tomi. Izuku, it's no problem if I live at your house. Izuku. No problem, there's always room for someone else. Proof. After the internship everyone returned, although the news was made known that Izuku along with his classmates defeated the hero killer, so everyone was congratulating the boys. Everything was going well until one day they were taken to do a test where they had to fight against the heroes being the teams like the original story, but one would be special from Izuku, Bakugo, Izumi. They waited until it was their turn. Izumi. We should have a plan. Bakugo. And what one for? Izumi. We are about to fight All Might, the number one hero. Izuku. I have one, I fight and you run to the exit is the only way. Izumi. But what are you saying? Bakugo. Do you want to take all the credit? Izuku. Think a little clumsy, when the villains attacked I was the only one who fought against that thing called Nomu, and it was made to kill All Might, so if I fight against it. Izumi. You defeat him. Izuku. No, it is more than obvious that he beats me, but I will buy enough time for you to pass. That's when All Might arrives at the scene. Izuku. Now. At that, the two ran to pass by the hero's side, but before he could interrupt his path, Izuku appeared in front, giving him a blow that sent him crashing into a building. Izuku. I'm sorry mister. All Might, but your fight will be with me. All Might would try to go against Izuku, but he jumped back to create an iron glove, with which he gave another blow to All Might, but before he could do anything he saw how the glove opened the palm, showing a blue light which shot to his chest making him retreat. All Might compassed himself to appear in front of Izuku and give him some blows that slammed him against a wall, but when the hero gave one more blow when he hit the boy's palm, he saw how his blow had no effect. As if his strength and quirk weren't there for Izuku to immediately punch him away. All Might. Why? Izuku. Fascinating isn't it, I learned how to cancel any physical attack from a quirk with my right arm. He said it to appear in front of him and give him another blow, but this was stopped by All Might who kicked Izuku, causing him to fly out of the place and crash into a building, and when he got up he received a smash, causing him to fly away too. Then All Might went out against the two that were missing while in front of him. Izumi. We're in trouble. Bakugo. I'll finish you off. All Might. I'm sorry but I can't let them pass. Before he went to attack they saw them holding an already somewhat injured Izuku by the neck. Izuku. Bakugo, let's go to plan. Izumi. What plan to? Bakugo. Run to the exit. The girl listened to him to start running, while Izuku had All Might. Bakugo began to spin around the two, while giving explosions damaging the two, although Izuku was the one who took the brunt of all this, so that All Might would do it. I let him go, but Bakugo continued with his thing, while Izuku and All Might had some fist bumps without any restraint. All Might. Smash. Izuku. I will win this fight. When they gave one last blow that caused a wave of air, sending Bakugo flying and revealing All Might with scratches while Izuku was totally hurt. Izuku. Yoge no. He said it so that Izumi could be heard passing through the door followed by Izuku falling to the floor unconscious. Pamp. After the test in which they had to take Izuku to the hospital for his injuries, he healed him completely, but he was scolded by the girls who would not leave him alone. After that everyone had to prepare to go to the camp where everyone was ready, and they took a bus to the place, passing the original story until they arrived where they were told. Izuku. Literally so much for this place. Bakugo. Apparently he couldn't see an easier way to do things. From here it would go like the original story in which everyone would train and spend the days, although when Mineta tried to fix the girl's part in the hot springs, he received a blow from Izuku that left him sinking to the floor. Izuku. So that you learn. After that, like the original story, everyone went to sleep, but during the night Izuku felt the weirdo, so he came out seeing a blue fire and understanding what was happening. Izuku. Everyone wake up now. When he shouted that, everyone got up to see how everything was, and that Izuku left. With Koda he was in the mountains until a villain arrived who wanted to kill him, but was saved by Izuku. Izuku. Hey kid, you're okay. Koda. Yes, thank you. Izuku. Muscular member of the League of Villains. Muscular? So a brat like you knows me. Izuku. I did research everything about the League of Villains, so seeing you with them doesn't surprise me at all. Muscular would go against Izuku, but he dodged his blow to give him one in the stomach, moving him and Koda away. Izuku. Koda run, I'll take care of him. Koda only listened to him so that Izuku went against Muscular, giving him another blow to the face followed by a knee, and grabbing his face to crash it against the floor, but Muscular grabbed his foot to lift him up and crash Izuku against the wall, but before to do something, cuts appeared on parts of his hand, seeing a knife in Izuku's hand. Followed by Izuku creating a gun and starting to shoot him. Muscular. I really didn't expect that, boy. He said it while he changed one of his eyes to increase his muscle mass and went against Izuku, which he was already ready to create a glove with which he hit Muscular, but he was not far behind, also hitting Izuku. causing him to go backwards, but he recovered quickly to continue with a kick, but Muscular took his foot to crash him against the floor and throw him against the rocks. Izuku. Damn, that hurts. Muscular. What's wrong, you can't beat me. But before he did anything, Izuku hit him on the shoulder with his right arm, seeing how his muscle mass was leaving the shoulder back to normal, but before he did anything he received a blow to the chest, causing him to crash against the rocks. Izuku. I don't think you'll be able to get up after that. Muscular. You're joking, I still need to give more of myself. He said it while taking out one more eye to use all his strength and go against Izuku, crushing Izuku with his muscle mass. Izuku. Damn it, if this continues like this I will die, I will have to give everything in this last blow. He said it to get Muscular's enzyme out, followed by him seeing a black aura coming out of his fist. Izuku. Total death blow. He said it by hitting him, causing the villain to fly against the rocks, leaving him unconscious. Izuku. This is it. He said it to leave the place, everything else would happen like the original story. Someone unexpected. After they went to the camp where they were attacked again by the League of Villains where they took Bakugo from the place, everyone would be in the hospital calmly until they came out. Only Kirishima, Izuku, Tomi and Momo agreed to go rescue Bakugo, so they each dressed up to go to where the League of Villains were. Happening like the original story until the fight between All For One and All Might began, happening like the original story, but this time All For One would leave All Might very injured. Afo. Apparently the great symbol of peace has come to an end. Before he gave him the last killing blow he felt a kick that took him away, seeing a green-haired man. Izuku. I'm sorry but I can't let you kill him. He said it to give him another blow that pushed him further away. Izuku. Guys, get All Might to safety. Momo. But what about you? Izuku. Don't worry about me, I'll be fine. He said it so that his body would have a change, showing that it had a white color on the left side and a dark color on the right. Afo. I'm interested in your quirk, the ability to destroy everything you touch and create is almost the power of a god. Izuku. Then prepare to fight my strongest mode, Hakai Kyo. In a second he disappeared to reappear in front of the villain, starting to hit him in the back, making him retreat from him so that he could kick him, followed by appearing behind him to hit him on the back, then disappear and give him another hit on the side. Followed by disappearing again and hitting him again on the other hand, starting to hit him on different parts of the body, where he would not defend himself until he was sent flying. Afo. You're amazing, Izuku. Izuku. No matter what happens I will defeat you. He said it to launch a beam of energy to start hitting him more, but in one it would not move. All For One. Afo. Good attacks, but now it's my turn. He said it to give him a blow that raised him into the air, followed by the villain appearing above him and hitting him with a mallet, but Izuku had to run because when All For One was going to lower his enzyme, he noticed that it was a kick that he would break the bones, but before he did anything he received another blow that sent him flying, but he grabbed his leg to crash him against the floor. Followed by grabbing his face and starting to run while dragging Izuku's face across the floor. Afo. You're not so incredible now, you'd better be my ally. Izuku. You can. He said it while they were holding him by the neck, so he spat in his face, so he squeezed his neck harder, causing him to spit out some blood, followed by Izuku extending his hand, giving him a small lightning strike in the face, making him let go, falling to the ground. Floor but received a kick from Afo. Afo. Maldito the distance. All of Izuku's girls, at the same time as those who were watching on TV, were worried because he was going to die, but before he did anything, he ended up on his knees and in one way or another. Everyone who was watching this felt afraid as if something appeared and if they would hit one step or the slightest movement they would die, although they were far from the place wondering who it was, although the worst of all this was All For One, since he was terrified, wondering who he was. Apparently they need my help. Afo. Impossible, you were supposed to be dead, they were supposed to kill you. I think you're wrong, no one can kill John Wick, but John Wick. All For One. After Izuku fought All For One having problems to the point where he was about to die, but to his surprise, like everyone else's, John Wick appeared with an aura of fear that caused everyone to stay on the floor, but the one who the worst I received this was All For One. Afo. How is it possible that you are still alive? John. I killed death and came back to life. That brought a drop of sweat to some while others understood that. Izuku. That doesn't make much sense. How do you kill death? John. Son, I'm John Wick, one day I'll show you how it's done. At that point he turns to look at All For One who trembled before his gaze and his 0.0001% killer instinct. Afo. Wait, we can talk. He said it with all his might and with his giant fists he hit John in the face, but that didn't move him a single centimeter. John. Did that have to do something to me? Afo. Wait, it was a joke, you know those typical jokes. John. I have a joke, I'll leave you unharmed. At that, All for One trembled more but began to run, but John appeared in front of him and hit him, leaving him lying on the floor, leaving him somewhat injured. John. That's all. He said it while walking to All for One, who turned around to run, but John appeared in front of him making him run somewhere else, but John appeared again making him do it again and again, but when he tried to attack John, he hit him and left him lying on the floor. Well, he walked to him, while he adjusted his suit to see what he could do to take out a pencil that everyone saw. Hey foe. What are you going to do with that pencil? John. You won't die but it will hurt. All for One tried to attack John, but he only dodged it, so that with a movement of his pencil, he passed to the side of All for One, while a lot of blood was seen coming out of him, while he screamed in pain, so that he fell to the floor. Completely unconscious, so that he approached Izuku, who was getting up with difficulty. Izuku. Apparently you only need a pencil to eliminate the entire world. John. In fact, that's why I use a gun, for an entire continent I use a pencil. At that point they see through some shadows what seemed to be the death that wanted John, but he pointed it out making it go away. Death. Someday John, someday. John. Anyway, I have to fix some things in the US, are you coming? Izuku was going to say yes, but he saw his companions. Izuku. I'm sorry but I don't think so, father. John. Well, I'll visit you son. He said it to walk away while the presence of John's death also left, allowing everyone to stand again. Momo. And now what? Izuku. Let's just go back home, I want to rest. He said it so everyone would leave the place. Bedrooms. After All for One's fight against John Wick, or rather the grape of All for One happened live and direct, the days passed in which all of the UA Class 1 received the news that they had to go to the bedrooms, so they paid attention to go to the place. Mina. What do you think if we do a contest? All. Competition. Mina. Yes, whoever has the best room wins. Almost everyone accepted except those from the original story, so that each one went through the room until they reached Izuku's room. When they entered they saw the place that had a large bed apart from normal furniture, a computer, but what caught the most attention was a box. Red, which had a key apart from a padlock. Mina. Who says this is the best room? Almost everyone raised their hand. Lita. I don't understand why such a big bed. Izuku. The thing is. He couldn't continue because the girl silenced him, leaving everyone wondering. Hiroshima. Hey Izuku, do you have anything else? Izuku. Luckily for us, my dear friends, I brought the man's place to the UA. They all watched as Kirishima and Shoji began to celebrate until everyone was scared by a voice. Jarvis. Mr. Izuku, the men's area is ready. Mineta. What is that? Izuku. It's Jarvis, a program I made. Bakugo. What is the men's area? Izuku. All you guys, follow me. All the boys followed him. Jarvis. The gentleman also brought the hot springs. Melissa. Girls, let's go relax. But the boys they entered a place where it had a pool table, different games, Xbox and more, in addition to having a bar. Hiroshima. I already missed this place. He said it by throwing himself onto an armchair. Lita. A bar. Izuku. Shut up, all drinks are non-alcoholic, that is, they are legal. He said it to grab a bottle and sit next to Kirishima and Shoji. Hiroshima. Hey Izuku, how is John still alive? Izuku. His explanation was not very understandable so to speak. Flashback. Izuku was in front of his father. Izuku. Hey old man, I still don't understand why you're still alive. John. My son, when John Wick tried to kill John Wick, he didn't count on John Wick killing John Wick. Izuku. Wait, you killed yourself. John. Don't be silly son, I can't kill myself. Izuku. Then how? John. John Wick cannot be destroyed by John Wick because John Wick can destroy John Wick. Izuku. Creador. John. Someday you will understand. Then flashback. Hiroshima. It wasn't very understood. Izuku. Come on. But the girls. Mina. Why did they cover Izuku's mouth when he was going to tell us why he has such a big bed? Melissa. We just didn't want the other kids to know that we slept with Izuku. Momo. It's our special pillow. Mina. We could try it one day. Momo. If Izuku lets them, then yes, they could sleep with Izuku. This is how the day went by for each group. Proof. After everyone arrived at the UA to the dorms to start living there in a building, although they spent more time in the hot springs and the man cave than in their own rooms or the living room, so that one day Aizawa would take them out. Forces them all. Bakugo. Why are you sacking us? Aizawa. Because they have a test. Mina. But we were relaxed. Aizawa. I don't care, now everyone put on your hero suits and go to the bus. They only did what the teacher told them to take the bus, and it took a while until they arrived at a place, and just like the original story they met the other school. Izuku. So woman. Izawa noticed a smile that promised him a lot of suffering. Izawa. Don't try to do something. Izuku. Obviamente no. Be relaxed. Izuku. As long as you don't discover me. At that he became alert and kicked him to the tests. Izawa. And I have more punch where that came from. Izuku. I'm sorry. Everyone watched with a drop of sweat to begin the test in which Izuku only walked calmly. Izuku. How boring, I already disqualified many. At that point a ball was going to touch Izuku's device, but he dodged it in time. Izuku. What was that? Where he came from? Out of nowhere he is thrown to the floor by a girl who hugs him from behind. Izuku. What? Kami. Hi, I'm Kami. Izuku. Hello, I'm Izuku, can you get out of my enzyme, please? Kami. I don't think so, for some reason I feel some attraction towards you. Izuku. How direct? Kami. Sis. The villain tried to attack them, but Izuku took Kami to jump away from the place. Izuku. Too bad, we were interrupted then we continued talking. He said it while jumping to see an explosion in the distance. When he arrived he saw Todoroki fighting with a hero who was posing as a villain, being Great Orca. Izuku. What's wrong? Todoroki. Apparently we have problems with one of the top 10. Izuku. Take care of taking all the civilians out, I'll take care of him. He said it while jumping in the direction of Great Orca. Orca. What's happening? No one will stand up to me. Izuku. Understood. The professor received a kick that sent him flying, followed by Todoroki using a wall of ice to separate the group of villains and Izuku. Orca. I don't know if that's smart or stupid. Izuku. More intelligent than anything else. Orca. Whatever, he defeats you and it'll just happen. Izuku. Tu no Pasara. He said it while hitting with his right arm, causing the floor to break, causing everyone except Orca to fall because of this, so that only the two of them were left. Orca. Apparently you took care of my minions. At that he received a blow from Izuku, so that he went against him to give him another blow, but Orca threw cement at his right arm, making him unable to move it, but before he did anything he saw how the boy destroyed the cement, as if it were nothing. His gaze to receive a blow from Izuku squarely causing him to fly away, so that he ended up on some rocks, so that Izuku touched the ground, causing stone pillars to end up crushing Orca who could not get up because of this, but when he could, he threw a large amount of cement to Izuku's left arm, not allowing him to move it, but before he touched it. One of the henchmen threw cement on the rest of his body, not allowing him to move. Gyokura. Let's see what you do with this. He said it while he began to throw sound at Izuku who only received it fully, wanting to cover his ears, but he couldn't until he finished and approached him. Gyokura. Apparently it's over. Izuku. Only if you don't withstand this blow. Orca. What? He saw how he destroyed the cement to hit it with his right arm, which showed some darkness, causing Orca to end up flying away, carrying several rocks in front of him, until he crashed against the wall, so that he couldn't move anymore. Izuku he only looked at the ones that were left to give a smile that scared them. Izuku. This is going to amuse me. After saying that, a big explosion was seen. Different. After they passed the provisional hero license test so that Izuku had a license so that at this moment they were in the UA calmly without having any problems, but they were given the notice to end up doing some surveillance on the streets and Izuku it's my turn with Mirio. Izuku. So your quirk lets you go through anything. Mirio. Yes and yours. Izuku. Everything I touch with my right arm I can destroy and with my left arm I can create. Mirio. It's a great quirk. Izuku. Thank you, yours too. The two were walking until something collided with Izuku. Izuku. When he looks he notices a small girl, but what caught Izuku's attention was that the girl had bandages on her small body. Izuku. Are you okay? Izuku knelt down to pick her up, but the girl immediately hugged Izuku. Girl. Help me please. Obviously I noticed the girl's fear, so I hugged her. Izuku. Don't worry, I'll help you. Just then he sees a man coming from the alley. Man. I'm sorry if my daughter bothered you, come Eri. Izuku noticed how the strength of the hug increased, so Izuku stood up holding Eri in his arms. Izuku. Your name is Eri. The girl nodded in affirmation. Izuku. Eri everything will be fine, Mirio do me a favor and take her to UA and leave her in my room. He gave the girl to Mirio so he could leave. Man. You want to interfere between a father and his daughter. Izuku. More than a father you are not and it shows by your injuries or it is not like that overhaul. Overhaul. Apparently you know me and you should know that I have a destruction quirk. He said it while taking off a glove and touching the floor to make some spikes go against Izuku, who then only touched one of the spikes to cause it to be destroyed. Izuku. Do you really think I'm going to believe that story about destroying things? Overhaul. K. Izuku. Your quirk can only disarm and rearm at high levels. Do you know what my quirk is? Overhaul. Which one? Izuku. Destruction and creation. I can destroy anything I want as well as create anything. I will give you a demonstration. He said it to touch the floor, and out of nowhere, everything began to be destroyed while he went against Overhaul, causing him to be sent flying, followed by some stone pillars hitting him squarely. Izuku. It won't kill you, but it will keep you busy. After that he went to UA, and when he arrived he saw Eri being surrounded by the entire class 1 who couldn't stop looking at the girl, but when Eri saw Izuku she approached him. Izuku. It's good news. Eri. What? Izuku. That bad man will never bother you again. Eri. Are you serious? Izuku. If I take care of him, do you have a place to live? Eri. No. Izuku. Well now if you have a place to live, you will come with me so we can live together once and for all. Eri. Really? Won't it do anything bad to me? Izuku. I won't do anything bad to you from now on. No one will hurt you because you are my daughter, Eri Wick. That moved the entire class 1 as Izuku adopted a girl. Kirishima. Man among men are going to cheer him on. Haminari. This is so cute. Out of nowhere, something is heard through the window. John.W. I'm already a grandfather. That scared everyone into entering and approaching Eri. John. I'll teach you everything I know like I did with your father. Izuku. Don't include the killing part separately if I'll take care of her. John. We'll see, I advise you to keep a close eye on it for the moment because at the slightest opportunity I will take it. He said it as he disappeared into a shadow in a corner, but when they turned on the light he was no longer there. Haminari. Don't buck with me, there's no way out. Tokoyami. Where are you? Shoji. Because it's John Wick. Overhaul. After Izuku accompanied Mirio through the streets to finish off Eri so that they all immediately went to UA meeting Eri, although Izuku heard from the little girl about what Overhaul was doing to her, making her angrier than normal. At this moment Izuku can be seen with the heroes. Izuku. Why did they call us? Izawa. It's just that we planned an attack on Overhaul's house. Izuku. And we hope I want to make him pay. Izawa. I know what you want to do about Eri, but we have to wait a while. Izuku. Okay. The days passed in which they waited although Izuku spent time with Eri until the long-awaited day arrived to go for Overhaul with everyone outside. Ryukyu. By the way, boy, I understand that your quirk allows you to destroy and create. Izuku. You are. Ryukyu. Then you can fight Overhaul. Izuku. I already fought him before and defeated him. Hero. If so, you will face him. Izuku. You are. Like the original story, they entered the place to start running around the place, but they couldn't find anything. Mirio. It seems to have no end. Izuku. Wait a moment. He touched the wall to make a huge destruction, followed by a tremor, causing some to lose their balance. Izuku. As I thought. Kirishima. What time is it? Izuku. There is a villain with a quirk that allows you to move walls, it's not far away, I just have to do this. He set it to play again, but the floor for him to play began to destroy, making an incredible tremor throughout the place, until they saw the villain on a wall. Izuku. Izawa. Izawa. See. The man threw his ribbons to start running, but at one point they were separated by the villains. Izawa. Why Mirio? Izuku. I can imagine where he is, follow me. Izuku ran with Izawa to a part where they saw Mirio fighting Overhaul, although the villain was beginning to take control of the fight. Izuku. It couldn't be uglier. Overhaul. You damn. Overhaul threw spikes that Izuku ended up destroying as if it were nothing, so that it was his turn, and he threw a large amount of water that Overhaul had to dodge, but he couldn't avoid a pillar from Izuku that sent him to the ground. This obviously made him angry, so I look at Izuku. Overhaul. T-matter. He shouted it so that a large number of pillars and spikes came out of the floor which everyone had to dodge to see Overhaul, who was rising on a pillar. Izuku. I better do something. He said it while a white light and a dark one were seen, and with one jump, he began to destroy all the pillars and peaks, as if nothing were happening, getting closer and closer to Overhaul, so that the two of them clashed fists, in which he destroyed everything that was there. Close to him until Izuku won the clash to send Overhaul flying, but he took one of his minions to transform into a larger form. Izuku. More and more ugly. Overhaul. Overhaul, Overhaul, Overhaul. He tried to attack Izuku who only dodged his attacks to get closer to the villains to pierce a part of his body, but he did not stop as he turned around to pierce another part of Overhaul again, going that way faster and faster, until there was only Overhaul who couldn't avoid a blow from Izuku that sent him to the ground making a crater. Izawa. What time is it? Izuku. Yes, take it and I'll go give the good news to Eri. That's when he left the place. Festival. After Izuku has fought against the 8 precepts of death against Overhaul, with the help of some heroes and his companions, at this moment Izuku will find himself visiting the hospital to see his classmates, whom he looked at while entering their rooms. Kirishima. Aizu bro. Izuku. Kirishima doesn't look very good on you. Kirishima. Yes, in a few days I was going to sign up. Izuku. That's good. That way he left so that a few days would pass in which everyone was already in class. Izuku. We have to make an important announcement, the festival is approaching and we have to have ideas for the festival, so I want to hear your ideas. Out of nowhere everyone raised their hands. Izuku. Well, in that case it's better to write your ideas on a piece of paper and let me see them with Momo to choose your best ideas. Momo. Apart from that we have something else to say. Izuku. Is there anything else? Momo. Yes, we girls found out that boys have something called a man cave where only you are. The boys just looked at the black girl attentively. Momo. We would like to see that place. Izuku. You may know why. Momo. It's not obvious, so we know if they're hiding something like that and if we like them maybe we'll stay there for a while, you know, to have fun. Izuku. Can you give us a few moments? Momo. Well, of course. The boys went out into the hallway. Bakugo. What do we do? Izuku. Code red, code red. All the boys went to their place of peace and quiet. Might. What do they do outside of their classroom? Izawa. See. Cementos. Do you know that we can punish them? Izuku. It's the man cave, code red. The teachers, upon hearing that, ran with them, the teachers were also going to the man cave, so they understood so that they would enter the place. Izuku. Quick, put away everything that seems fun, the bar, the video games, the pool table, the card table, everything. They took the things and as if the place was prepared for that occasion, they began to hide everything in walls which could even be used to hide a truck full of cocaine. Izuku. Quickly, let's go. Out of nowhere he noticed the cameras watching the girls. Momo. Can you open it for us? He gave a smile that scared Izuku. Izuku. They've arrived, is everything ready? Izawa. Listo. That way he opened the door and all the girls saw Izuku with a robe and a cup of tea. Izuku. It's good that you arrived, come in. The girls came in to see the boys sitting in some armchairs or some cushions, there was a table that had some teacups and a stool, and they also had robes. Might. You have some ideas to pass the time. Shoji. I propose to see the Bible. Kirishima. For me, continuing to drink tea and talking about how to solve some economic issues is fine. Ejiro. And if we better have a contest to see who can solve the biggest mathematical problems. Izuku. Guys, the girls arrived. Everyone looked at them to say hello, the girls took a while to leave. Momo. Well, it doesn't seem like a big deal like we thought. Melissa. I don't think we'll be around this place for a while. The girls left and Izuku closed the door to see the boys. Izawa. That was close. Mineta. A little more and destroy that tread. Izuku. Anyway, let's get back to normal. He said it to press a button which caused the entire bar to return to normal, as well as the video games and the pool table and a jacuzzi. Izuku. A little more and we would end badly. At that one of the boys realized something. Lita. Izuku. Izuku. What's wrong? He noticed that he was pointing at something behind him in fear so that he would turn around and see Eri. Eri. They tried to hide this from the girls. At that all the boys felt great fear. Izuku. Well, how much for your silence? Eri. How many things can you all get me? The boys and teachers only thought that from now on a girl was going to control all of them. Festival cultural. After the notice of the cultural festival was given, apart from the fact that the boys had to make the man cave hide all the fun, although they did not count on Eri, at this moment you can see the boys wearing some suits while they were on a small table. Momo. What are you doing? Jiru. It seems like they're playing tea with Eri. Melissa. That's so sweet of you. While at the tea table the boys were the ones who had it the worst. Eri. Do you want some more tea, Mr. Kirishima? Kirishima. The truth is not great. He saw that Eri had a smile already knowing what was going to happen if she rejected him. Kirishima. Yes, a little more would be very good, honestly. The girl put more tea in his cup while Kirishima began to shake as he drank to avoid ending up spitting it out while something else was happening in his mind. Kirishima's mind. The sacrifice for the man cave will have its good sides, even if it has to take acid. He thought about it while shedding a tear, while Mienta and Kaminari were laughing about this, but they didn't know that those same little laughs were their downfall, since they saw how Eri left them 2 jars of the same tea. Kaminari. And this? Eri. It's for them to drink, why else would they be stupid? At that they began to take the tea jugs. Another thing that happened was that everyone except Izuku, because his money was infinite, ended up in poverty because of the girl. At this moment everyone was looking at things for the sports festival. Hiroshima. If we all have to do some things, why hasn't Izuku done anything until now? Izuku. That's because I'm paying for the instruments among other things like the costumes for the festival, or you want to pay for the voice. Hiroshima. No thanks, it was just a question. Izuku. Well, everyone is in charge of doing their things, I have to go get ready. Mineta. For what? Izuku. I'm going to give Eri a ride because it's her first time doing this kind of thing. The boys understood, so they let Izuku go with Eri. The boy walked with the girl until they bumped into someone. Tesu. Hey, be careful with the dragon head. Izuku. Tesu. Tesu. Izuku. Izuku. It's good to see you around these places. Tesu. I'm saying the same thing, I found out that Class 1 is going to have a concert. Izuku. Yes. Monoma. Well, too bad because Class 1B is going to destroy them with the man from Romeo and Juliet. Izuku. Yes, as you say, how are you doing, Tesu? Tesu. The truth is, well, but what can I tell you? I heard that you paid for the costumes and everything that the stage will have for the concert. Izuku. Yes, apart from that I have a little trick up my sleeve. Tesu. I want to see it now. Izuku. It's a surprise. The two separated, although Izuku completely ignored Monoma. They arrived at a part where they saw Najire. Izuku. Hola Najire. Najire. Izuku, this is with Eri. Izuku. Yes, what are you going to do? Najire. I entered the beauty pageant even though I don't think I'll win because of the previous champion. Izuku, upon seeing a video of the previous girl, turned pale. Izuku. No doubt he had to pay a lot of money to win since he can't compare to you. Najire blushed a little at the comment. Najire. Thanks I guess, well I have to go Izuku. Izuku. Okay. Izuku walked with Eri until they reached a part. Izuku. And what did you think, Eri? Eri. It's not that surprising. Izuku. Yes, but you have to understand that not everything in the world is surprising. The girl only drank a little of her smoothie. Izuku. Well, let's go, we have to do some small details before the festival begins. Eri. Yes. The two of them went to where the rest of the class was going to be. The greatest sacrifice. After Eri was using all the boys and teachers with almost no money other than torturing them, and Izuku took the little girl to enjoy the cultural festival of what it was going to be like, they were currently walking calmly through the dormitories watching some things, although Izuku found himself with a computer typing at a great speed to everyone's surprise. Hiroshima. What are you doing, Izu Izuku. Well, I'm just busy about the sports festival. Haminari. But we have everything ready now. Izuku. Yes, but some things are still missing. Lita. Like some things. Izuku. Well, I'm buying some things to make the scene much better when we're all there. Everyone understood, so they just watched Izuku riding at a great speed. Izuku. Although I don't know if I'll be able to buy everything I need since a certain girl took all our money. He saw Eri with a video on a phone from who knows where she got the one she had about the man cave. Jiru. What happened? Izuku. What happened to what? Nothing, I didn't say that. Mina. But we heard you say. Izuku. But there is hope. Eri. You can buy me some things I want. The girl showed the things while Izuku and the boys who were looking at him only got scared by the pressure, so Izuku looked at his friends. Hiroshima. Issa Murata. Izawa. It is the look of human sacrifice. Nezu. The greatest sacrifice a person can make. They saw how Izuku had a look that had a mix between serious, happy and one to the other world with a smile, and some more than possible another tear being about to come out in his eyes, so he nodded along with the boys who stood in a pose ready to run. Izuku. I'm afraid not, Eri, I already bought you many things and I'm not going to let it happen anymore. Eri. Are you sure? Izuku. You are. The little girl approached the girls to show them the video. All the boys began to run like Izuku without leaving anything behind, while they heard it in the background. She rotted us. Izuku. Run and don't leave any men behind. They were doing what they could until they ran out of the bedrooms towards the man cave. Girls. Come back here. Once they reached the fortress where they could be, Izuku ended up opening the door. Izuku. Come on, let's go quickly, come on, it's now or never, we won't leave anyone behind. Once all the boys entered, Izuku was about to enter and close the door, but a rope was put on his foot, making the boys and Izuku look at this so they can see each other. Izuku. Yavali. At one point he fell to the floor so that he began to be dragged across the floor, but the boys held his hand, not letting him leave their side, but another rope grabbed his other foot. Hiroshima. Hold on Izu bro, we won't let you die. They looked at the bedroom door being the entrance which was all dark with the two ropes coming out of there so that another rope came out of nowhere and as if it were a tentacle it grabbed Izuku's waist. Bakugo. I don't understand, we are more than them and we have professional heroes, but we can't help Izuku. Another rope came out, taking Izuku's arm, making him let go of that arm. The green-haired man noticed how everyone was beginning to be dragged along with him, so he looked at the boys. Izuku. I'm sorry friends, I can't continue with you, forgive me, if we continue this way we will all fall. Haminari. One for all and all for one. The green-haired boy looked at them, Aizawa and Kirishima being the main ones, who saw how the green-haired boy shed tears. Izuku. Jarvis, close the doors to the man cave, don't let anyone leave or enter, I will never forget you friends. The boy let go, causing him to end up going towards the bedrooms. Kirishima. Izuku. Iridid tried to go, but they grabbed him so as not to let him go as the door closed. Izuku was taken to the dorms, while he remembered the happy times he spent with all of them apart from the man cave until he entered the dorms and the rooms. Bedroom doors were closed. Lemon. After the boys ran for their lives ending with Izuku being kidnapped by forcing him to enter the dorms, Izuku was being dragged everywhere without stopping at some point causing him to collide with some furniture to enter his room where was put on his bed. Izuku. What happened? My whole beautiful body hurts. At one point he was silenced by a kiss from Kendo. Kendo. Well now we have to play a little. Izuku. I won't get out of this scrape alive. He managed to spot the girls who were there, being Mirko, Jiru, Momo, Sayu, Yui, Ibara, Kendo, Toga without anyone knowing how they got there, Izumi, Mei, Najire, Ryuko, Melissa and Pony. Mei. This time we will make babies together, but how it should really be done. They took off Izuku's clothes, leaving him completely naked, while the girls began to touch him everywhere, only beginning to suck Izuku's member, reaching the point of using her breasts with the green-haired man, who could only endure not letting go of everything he had to. Inside. Mei. Come on, let it go. Yui. Don't be so mean. Izuku's thoughts. I don't have to let it out. He tried to do his best, but the girls plus the heroine and the villain were apparently too good to a point where they made him bring out everything he had inside, only for each of them to take their share. Mirko. Now the best part has to begin. Lemon skipped please read it on website. Izuku. If they know this was a grape and I can sue them. Kendo. Yes we know but you're not going to do it. Izuku. And why wouldn't I? Najire. Because otherwise we will grape you to death again. But that the green-haired man could only begin to tremble. Aid. After Izuku was graped by the girls while the boys were holding awake inside the man cave, since they thought they lost their friend forever, the one who gave them that place to enjoy all the time and to be able to enjoy it forever now. They had awake, it looked like his ashes were in a vessel, while next to it was a photo of the green-haired man. Bakugo. We have to end all this. Ajiro. Yes but who does it? Lita. I don't think I can do it. Aizawa. I better take care of it. They saw how he stepped in front of everyone, taking a position to be able to speak. Aizawa. Dear friends, students, battle companions, today in particular we are gathered to be able to give Izuku a dignified funeral, may he rest in peace. Before they continued, they heard knocking on the door so that they could see through the cameras a green hair that was not at all feminine on her body, making everyone jump from their places. Nezu. Open the doors now. They made the request for an Izuku to enter with bite marks, hickeys and nail marks all over his body. He only had a pair of pants while he walked towards them with difficulty until he reached a point where he almost fell if they had not taken him between them. All. Kirishima. Izu bro is alive. Izuku. Don't think that I'd die so easily, but I almost ended up worse than you imagine. That's when I noticed the ashes of the place. Izuku. Whose ashes are they? When he said that, everyone asked themselves the same question. Shoji. Bakugo didn't bring that up. Everyone looked at the ash-haired man who was only drinking coffee. Lita. Mineta is also missing. But that, the ashen-haired man drank some of his coffee with clear nerves. Aizawa. What did you do with Mineta? Haminari. Katsuki Bakugo now what did you do? At one point they heard footsteps only to see Mineta enter through a door, all agitated and beaten. Mineta. I'm throwing myself down the bucking stairs. Bakugo. Throw is an ugly word, I would say slap. At one point they heard a knock on the front door, so that in a moment it exploded, sending everyone flying, so that they could see the girls with weapons of war as well as military suits, if not enough, it seemed like he had a joint out of his mouth. Melissa. The damn G.I. Joe bitches have arrived. Endeavor. Volumos Vergas. All Might. The train has already loaded us. Aizawa. Calm down, calm down. Momo. Give up my chick or we will destroy you. Izuku. What carnal wave. Izumi. Less cause Mo's pain. Bakugo. You and how many others? Momo. Like how many more? Maybe you're not seeing, maybe you're not seeing. Melissa. They attack. Haminari. Well, there looked better than a warm egg that ran than a hard egg that broke. Izawa. Protect the green-haired boy. Izuku. Luckily support suit, attack Zeus. At one point they saw how a white-furred dog came towards them. Nezu. And what is that going to do? Izuku. He is a Dogo Argentino, one of the 3 most dangerous dogs on the planet. My dad John gave him to me, with this we will win. The dog was about to attack the girls, but they took out a piece of meat, making it stop to start eating it before the eyes of everyone who was surprised by such a thing. Haminari. Well, it seems that in the end it didn't help much. Izuku. I think something didn't go according to plan. They saw how they were petting the dog until they stopped doing so. Everyone thought that now they were going to attack them, but he just started walking next to them before everyone's eyes. Izuku. Well, now I lost a dog, I don't think we can do anything about it now. Shoji. I imagine that now we do run. Izuku. You are. They began to run in order to leave the place apart from noticing how they took out a class of robots out of nowhere. Nezu. How do you have to use robots? Izawa. I don't know, if you want, go back and ask him. When they said that, they ran and separated in order to stay safe, although in the end almost everyone was surrounded by the robots. Momo. Now they will tell us where our chick is. Izawa. Well, unfortunately, we don't know. Melissa. If they want to do it the hard way then it will be that way. The robots were about to attack, but at one point a bullet went through their head, so they could see Izuku who arrived with some firearms as did others from Class A, and teachers like Present Mick. Izuku. I will destroy them all. He said it while shooting so that in a moment he ended up running out of his bullets, so that he took out some kind of sword with which he ended up destroying the robots, cutting them in half, while the rest were fine. Izuku. Everyone attacks. Everyone advanced before the gaze of the girls who began to hide from the advance of the boys until they reached a point where they were simply calm. Izuku. We're doing it. Before he made another move, a shot hit him right in the chest, electrocuting him so that he fell to the floor, followed by chains beginning to take him away. Hiroshima. No, they take him away again. Izawa. Don't let that happen. Given this request, they began to go in order to save him. Father. At the UA, the Great Academy, something terrible was happening. Hundreds of bodies were lying on the floor. They all seemed dead and it was the least wanted thing at that time, but more importantly, it was something quite bad. They were all the men of the UA, all the boys. Along with some other fallen men. Haminari. Damn, we couldn't hold back the attack, we fell and couldn't protect it. At one point he noticed how a bird was flying above him just to reach out his hand to it. Haminari. What are you doing flying around this place? Go away, it's very dangerous. Inside the bedrooms there was a certain green-haired boy tied to the bed. Izuku. Because to me, many may think it can be pleasurable, but my sensuality is a curse. He said it while looking at the girls. There were some new ones like Kami, Yui, Najire, Fayumi, Pony, Mina, Rumi the professional like the Hussy Cats, Midnight, Mitsuki and Ryukyu, without knowing how they got to his bed. Izuku. Well, if I use my quirk properly I will be able to escape in a way that will allow me to leave this room, gather my troops, heal them and prevent this from happening again. Little by little he was freeing himself, but before he left his arm was taken by Midnight who had a smile. Midnight. Where are you going? At that another hand took his other free arm. Mirko. No one escapes from this rabbit, especially when she seeks to reproduce like the good rabbits that we are. Faced with this, the young man could only jump, managing to free himself from the grip, followed by him ending up looking at everyone. Izuku. I won't let them continue to grape me like this. He said it while slowly activating his quirk, but in a second he had a necklace before his quirk made by Momo who pulled him towards the bed. Melissa. Well, who is going to be next? Midnight. I would like to be the first. Mirko. No, it must be me. Pixie Bob. Nida Broma. Mitsuki. In exchange for me taking it first, then no. Toga. Forget that, you're supposed to be old and the youngest one should go first. That way they began to fight each other for the first time and Izuku found himself in the crossfire just to say a few words. Izuku. There are fates worse than death. Before they continued they heard how the door was knocked for a man to speak whose voice Izuku could recognize like the rest. John. Hey Izuku, I need you to come, we have to talk about something important. Izuku. Yes, I'm coming now. He said it while he began to put on his clothes before everyone's eyes. Mirko. Well, when you come back we will continue with what we were doing. Momo. Well, we're deciding who's going to be next. Faced with such a thing, Izuku left with pure fear, leaving to go to the roof where John was, who was only looking at the sky. Izuku. I imagine something very important is happening for you to come. John. If it's something important, they told me about the League of Villains. It turns out that they plan to make an attack on the city, an attack that will release different villains from different places, but above all, release that villain called All for One. Izuku. But for that they need to have something very powerful than just normal villains. John. Yes, I've been hearing about that, and there might be a way I can help with this, prevent these things from happening. Izuku. And how can I do it? John. I was hearing that a certain Gigantomachia is their perfect Nomu. That means that if you defeat him, then you will be able to weaken them in a way that they can't do so many things that, or you can try to do something else that will be very useful to you. It's about if you can defeat all of their high-end Nomus, that will serve the same purpose, and at another time you will face Gigantomachia. Izuku. So it's really serious. If I want to do this I have to do it right, but I don't know where I can find them. John. At another time I'm going to give you a number, something that will take you directly to them without problems. Izuku. Then thank you father, this helps me a lot to be able to end this kind of war. John. Although I don't know if it's safe for you to live with a villain, you know. Izuku. If you're talking about Toga, don't worry, I'll just leave the League of Villains. Now I have to focus on the most important thing, the Nomus. They are very strong, I can't destroy them like nothing. John. You can stay calm with that, I'm in charge of destroying their base, and you're in charge of destroying the Nomus, fighting them to end all of this. I just want to know if you're going to be able to handle this. Izuku. Obviously I'll be able to, with your help things will be simpler than they seem. He said it while managing to keep a smile on his face, making John just continue looking at the sky. John. Well now I'm going to find a place to sleep for the moment. Before Izuku left he began to hear how the girls began to call him. Izuku. Wait, take me with you. Before he heard it, he noticed how he was no longer there. Izuku. Traitor. But that he ended up being tied by chains that took him into the darkness. Izuku. I'll die for Snuznu, but I'll die as a man. He said it while inside he was crying. A great danger. Izuku was at a table having a serious look although almost in a wheelchair while his friends were on one side and on the other were those girls who tried to destroy his lower part. Nezu. Young Izuku, you called us all and I suppose it's for something special. All Might. Maybe it's saving him from those rapists. Boruko. If they try to do something about it, like get our green-haired man out, we're going to castrate them as slowly as possible with pliers. He said it as Momo began to create a pair of tongs that she passed to each girl, and the men began to cover their private parts. Izuku. Don't call them about that, recently my father came to tell me about something. Izawa. If John Wick himself comes then it must be important. Izuku. And I know, I was informed about some rumors from the League of Villains, it seems that they are planning a massive attack, an attack where the city will be greatly affected. Nezu. How do you plan to do that? Izuku. I understand that they plan to use some high-end Nomus, even if they are few, but the worst thing is not them. Nezu. What could be worse than a high-end Nomu? Izuku. Well, it seems that they are trying to transform Chisaki into a vessel for enormous power. They are also preparing a Nomu, but not just any Nomu, but the perfect Nomu, one that is capable of destroying everything in its path, surpassing even the high-end ones. But that, they looked at each other while thinking about something that the young man was saying at that moment. Endeavor. Then we'll have to go after those Nomus and that perfect Nomu to end all of this. Izuku. I wish it were that simple, but I don't think so, the Nomus are too powerful to be able to do anything about it. Sato. So what's the advice? Izuku. The best thing is that I go alone for the moment and maybe with some heroes who know how to hide. Momo. That's very dangerous, we can't let you go for something like that. Melissa. It's true and if you go you must go with a lot of help. Nezu. But if we think about it, young Izuku showed us or well he could show me that he has great abilities to infiltrate a place, therefore it is nothing new that he can do something like that. When they said those words they only kept thinking about such a thing, while the young man only gave a sigh while he was thinking. Izuku. That said, I must go aside. If my father told me about this, it is because he knows that I can enter to be able to fix these problems that I have with the League of Villains. Midnight. But if we're talking about him then at least we should know where he is. Izuku. About that, it turns out that other idiots accidentally stole his car, so he has another personal matter. With that, some began to regret the lives of those people who dared to take the car of the most dangerous man in the world. All Might. Then I guess we should be able to do something about it other than help you infiltrate. Izuku. Yes, he left me reports of where he is, so if things turn ugly I want them to get into battle, but they must be watching things from afar. Nezu. Although I don't like your plan, it's the best we have. I want you to try to find something about it, and if things turn ugly, we will be watching from afar apart from evacuating the people who are nearby in case it arrives. Something to happen. Izuku. Sounds good, let's just try to carry out this plan as soon as possible, we have no other choice. He said it while he was thinking like the rest about that plan, but he was beginning to feel something, and it was the girls who managed to smile. Mina. We are going to take advantage of it to spend some time alone. Izawa. No, we won't let them take him again. He said it while they began to take out their weapons and the girls theirs, so Izuku was left in the middle of the crossfire to say some wise words at that time. Izuku. Let the hell break loose. He said it while the group duel began to know who would get the green. Infiltrators. In the base of the League of Villains they tried to be able to stay out of things before the Society of Heroes who simply increased things like security among other things by simply keeping it that way. Tamura. How are the advances so far with the high-end Nomus? Doctor. Apparently they are increasing their power more and more, I think that within a short time they will simply have no choice but to attack the city. Tamura. Great, when we can we'll just kill them all when we can. Abi. Although I can't understand it, it is assumed that with Gigantomachia he manages to keep himself at bay, he should be enough if he surpasses the high-end Nomus, apart from taking advantage of all the heroes. Doctor. We know, but Gigantomachia is not fully prepared to attack the heroes, he still needs more things like you, a good example is getting Gigantomachia's respect once and for all. Toga. But we can't do some things like that, we're just not able to cope. Doctor. I don't care, you just have to take care of the matter, otherwise you won't achieve anything. The villains walked while a robot watched them through a vent that shot directly at Izuku who was watching everything on a screen. Izuku. So they still find themselves doing things like that, it doesn't surprise me to be honest that the League of Villains continues doing this kind of thing, but anyway, I should be able to think of something before bad things happen. The young man looked at this without noticing that something was slowly approaching, until an arm tried to give a direct attack to the young man who managed to avoid it with a jump to stay away to get a good look at a strange creature. Man. There is an infiltrator, I must finish you. Izuku. Who the hell are you? I can't recognize you on the list of the League of Villains, this is strange. The being only launched itself against the young man who touched the ground so that a huge amount of rock went after him, hitting him squarely, making him retreat so that he thought that that was going to be enough, but in a moment he managed to destroy it as if it were nothing to stop him. Hit the young man who managed to block it with a shield that he barely managed to create in time, causing him to fly off and crash into a wall. Izuku. It's stronger than it looks, I think I should get serious about this thing. The boy only went on to throw himself at him, where he tried to throw a ray of light in order to do as much damage as possible, but that creature that looked like a man managed to endure it as if it were nothing to be able to take advantage of a moment to deliver a blow to his stomach causing him to end up crashing into a wall again. Doctor. Good, looks like you found it Gigantomachia, not bad. Izuku. Like Gigantomachia. Saying that he saw the doctor walking directly towards the enormous being that was increasing in size little by little until he only showed a smile. Doctor. He is not yet completely ready, but Gigantomachia is my perfect Nomu, someone who is or rather will be at the same level as All for One or higher, your father will not be able to beat him. Izuku. You really look very confident. Doctor. You better give up and let me turn you into a Nomu, your quirk is interesting and you're just alone. Izuku. Why do you think I'm alone? Doctor. Well, to begin with you simply don't have anyone with you, otherwise the heroes would have already entered something that doesn't happen, and you don't have a tracker, otherwise our alarms would have detected it. Izuku. You're smarter than I thought, I underestimated you, no matter how bad it is of me. Doctor. If you did it and now you must die, come on Gigantomachia, finish him off. At the request of his master, the perfect Nomu launched an attack against the young man who only prepared to receive him, trying to have an idea of how to face him. One live. The young man with green hair watched the enormous being walk slowly towards him with a firm step and determined to destroy it, being that in truth it was a little scary if it weren't for the fact that the young man happened to touch the ground, causing multiple spikes to start. To get out of it, trapping Gigantomachia in the process. Gigantomachia. Distance, distance. Izuku. Hey, could you avoid doing this, you are someone very strong, you can work for the right people, you should not fight on the side of these unfortunates who simply have no honor. Gigantomachia. No, my master wishes me to murder you. Izuku. It seems that we will not reach a permanent agreement, the best thing is that I can try to finish you off as soon as possible. He said it while those trails of darkness and light began to emerge. By doing so, Gigantomachia only managed to get out of his light confinement to launch himself against the green-haired young man who began to dodge his attacks in order to land a few blows on Gigantomachia's body. which, due to pity, could not have much effect on it. Doctor. It's useless, only one can survive this fight, and I know that Gigantomachia is not going to fall. Villain. Hey Doc, we have bad news, we are notified that some heroes may come after us right now, they are not the easy ones to defeat. Doctor. I see, it doesn't matter, this is good to try with the boy, at least we will have an idea that if we catch him, he will be a high-end Nomu with those kinds of quirks. He said it while looking at the battle where the young man barely managed to keep the enormous being under control, and at one point he began to let out some rays of light into Gigantomachia's eyes, causing him to remain blinded at times, something that he managed to take advantage of to start landing blows on his body without any mercy, making him retreat. Izuku. I don't want to kill you, but little by little you don't let me have any more options with this kind of thing. Gigantomachia. I will kill you in the name of All for One. He said it while he went on to land a blow on the young man who barely managed to dodge it to be able to take his arm, followed by throwing him away, something that he took advantage of to start throwing more pillars that hit Gigantomachia, something that he took advantage of to throw more things, trying to use all the power that he had as far as possible to defeat him without killing. But behind his back a hole was made in the ground, and Gigantomachia himself came out before the young man's gaze, who could not avoid a blow from the same being, causing him to fly off and crash into a wall. Something that he took advantage of to begin landing more blows on the young man's body, followed by being able to take him in his huge hands, where he began to squeeze little by little. Doctor. Well, it seems that the fight is over, we don't have to continue with this kind of thing. The young man with green hair looked up at the ceiling, as it was that little by little his body was going to be destroyed before the monster, just so that he would have one last part left to use. Izuku. I'm sorry, but you don't leave me any other choice. Saying that, he went on to touch one of Gigantomachia's hands with his hand, making it disappear completely, surprising everyone with such a thing, and even more so when the young man launched himself against the same being in order to destroy different parts of its body, until he managed to reach his head, where upon touching it, it ended up being completely destroyed. Making it clear that there is a living person and a clear winner of the match who fell to his knees. Doctor. Quite an unexpected ending to be honest. Villain. We must leave, we cannot stay in this place any longer. Doctor. Yes, let's just go. The two began to leave while little by little the heroes arrived at the place. Endeavor. Now kill all the villains you see, no one must escape us, and find Midoriya. Man. Sir, look, you are in that place. Everyone saw Gigantomachia's lifeless body while the villains took the boy through a portal little by little, worrying everyone who rushed to save him, as they were going to be able to at least do so, but they did not reach the end, the boy was taken through the portal. They fell. When the villains took the young man who only had large wounds on his body that he was trying to heal, they left him inside a cell where the professor was in front of him with a smile while looking at him. Izuku. Now what the hell do you want? Doctor. Nothing special, I just can't wait for him to turn you into a perfectly capable Nomu. Izuku. That's going to be impossible, you'll never be able to transform me into a Nomu because you're all going to fall. Doctor. Do you really believe that? I thought that Gigantomachia was going to be my perfect Nomu, the one who was going to be able to destroy everything in his path, but I was wrong about that, it seems that it was not going to be that way. Izuku. And what are you going to do about it? Doctor. It's quite simple, you are going to be my new perfect Nomu. Gigantomachia was supposed to be that being that not even All for One or One for All could defeat, but you appeared with that strange quirk. Izuku. What can I tell you? I'm amazing. Doctor. Yes you are, but unfortunately you no longer have any energy to continue fighting. Izuku. You're wrong about that part, I don't have enough energy to be able to fight everyone in this building, but I do have enough energy to get out of the cell. Doctor. And what do you plan to do once you get out? Because even though you can defeat this entire building in some way, which is clearly impossible, you must understand that the League of Villains is ready to escape. Izuku. That's true, but there are things that you never manage to count on, and they are surprise events. Doctor. Like which ones? Izuku. It's simple, look through the cameras. The man paid attention to see how from one moment to the next his men began to disappear, one by one they simply disappeared, without leaving any trace, and that undoubtedly surprised the doctor who saw such a thing. He was going to continue that way until he heard the sound of metal falling to see how Izuku himself began to emerge little by little, who was slowly getting to his feet. Izuku. Just like I told you, I have enough strength to leave this place. Doctor. Well, I accept my defeat due to this unexpected event, you can arrest me, although in the end it will only be a matter of time before I manage to get out. Izuku. Maybe, but I have to accept it seems like a family tradition of revenge. Doctor. What do you mean? The young man went towards him to touch him with his arm and make him explode into pieces, leaving nothing of that man in the young man's sight. Izuku. And just like I said before, you were going to fall. At that moment the door was kicked in by two villains who entered and saw the young man free. Villain. Unfortunate, die once and for all. The two pointed their weapons at Izuku himself, followed by some gunshot noises, so that the villains fell dead to the floor, while little by little John Wick himself managed to enter, looking at the mess the young man made. John. I think you encounter small details with the use of your quirk, although I suppose everything ended up going as expected. Izuku. I guess so, they never planned that I would be able to call some support to work as a group, I never did it before in a fighter escape, and they thought I wouldn't do it now either. John. Anyway, all the villains were arrested by the heroes, it's best to leave this place before they find you with this whole mess. Izuku. I think it's going to be the best, I have no other options at the moment if I really want to leave this place in one piece and live. The young man began to walk with his father, without having any idea of what was going to happen from that moment on for the two of them, being something totally new. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching, if you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day, bye.